Today is only going to happen once. Make it amazing. Good morning, friends, and welcome back to the channel. I am the Soap Chef here on this channel where we make all things with a rather good lather. What's up with the hair being down today? You guys almost never see me with my hair down. That's because I have to go get a haircut in roughly 1 hour. I got to go get these locks trimmed. I like my hair to be just about shoulder length when it's dry. I still have a lot of curl, a lot of perm left. Anywho, what's cooking today, you guys? How was your Easter? I hope everybody had a wonderful Easter with your family, and the kids and the grandkids got everything that their little hearts desired. And you guys too, as grown-ups, you know, I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend as well. We had a great time on Saturday night with our live, with all of you joining us. It was a really fun time. Let's see. On today's video, I think I did film this. I haven't actually even been here in the facility for the entire weekend, but on Friday, I filmed me making some bath bombs from another recipe from a different creator, just to show you guys, you know, things go wrong. Every recipe doesn't work for every person. This recipe absolutely did not work for me. Doesn't mean it's not going to work for you, though. It could. But we're going to check that video out. We're going to give you the results several days later, because I made those bath bombs on Friday and came back today. Today's Monday. And I'll show you the results and how they dried and what happened to them. I'm also going to show you how that porcelain clay is doing. Is it hard? Is it soft? Is it breaking? What's it doing? And also I'm going to let you guys look at the scented chalk that we did. I did not do a video on that yet because I am, excuse me, I'm burping up my protein bar. That's rude. Excuse me. I didn't do the video on the scented chalk yet because I still have to do a couple little tweaks on it. But the first round is looking very promising. It's getting there. The thing about doing your own scented chalk, it takes an enormous amount of time to dry. So that's not something you can do on the fly. You have to kind of treat that almost as if it was cold processed soap, where you have to let some of the water evaporate out of there. A lot of people will use a dehydrator to speed that along. I don't have a dehydrator that I can use here in the facility. We do have one at the house, but obviously that's for food and I'm not going to use that. So I did mine from scratch using the calcium carbonate, and it's doing pretty well. It's only been, what, like 5 days since I made that, and it's doing quite well. So I think this is a good recipe. I will see in a full week's time how it's doing, and if you can, go ahead and write on the chalkboard or on the driveway, you know, or on your sidewalk or whatever, without it completely crumbling apart. At this point right now, it's not dry enough to do that. It would crumble all apart, but it's getting there, you know. So yeah, mad scientist me, man. I don't know what happened this past week, but I just felt like getting my geek on, so I did. By the way, slightly off topic, but for those of you who were there during the live the other day, it was hard for me to keep track of all of the comments that were coming through, so I wound up watching the video again the next day so I could read all the different comments. And I just wanted to clear something up before everybody gets, oh my gosh, what is the Soap Chef one of those crazy lunatics? Especially Mrs. Soap and Clay. I don't want you thinking that, because you made a comment about how our political views are wildly different. I don't have any, if I'm being completely honest. And I said that I watched Fox News because I do watch Fox News. Occasionally I will watch CNN, but really not all that often. I just don't want you guys thinking I'm some crazy, you know, Capitol Hill storming, Trump supporting lunatic. I'm definitely not, you guys. I am not affiliated in any way politically. I'm not with any party. I don't vote. I don't do any of this nonsense. I don't get involved in politics. I don't get involved in religion. I don't do any of that. I'm just watching news. That's all. That doesn't make me some lunatic, so never fear. There's no scandalous stuff going on over here on this channel or with me personally. You guys should know me better than that anyways, right? Okay. Let's go over there and see what we did with whatever it is that we're going to be doing over there, okay? Okay, continuing on with our little mad scientist experimentation, I am going to make somebody else's recipe of a bath bomb. This is a teeny tiny little batch. I believe this is only, I don't work in grams, but this recipe is in grams, and so when I converted all of that, this is coming out roughly to around 20 ounces. So I'll be able to get a couple of bath bombs out of here. And guess what I used? Because I still have all that freaking cornstarch that we colored with the yellow. So apparently now you have powdered colorant to use. Not in bath bombs if you're selling. If you're using it for your own personal use, go for it. But anyways, I still have all that. So I figured, well, this is just a test batch. I'm not selling these because this is not my recipe. However, I'm trying to get to a point where I can make bath bombs out at events when I am out at events. And the reason why is because not this coming Saturday, not tomorrow, but the following week we are going to be at an event which is called a mini maker fair. And they would really like for all of the makers to be making there at the fair. Now the only thing that I could really think about doing with no electricity was to have the kids come in and make their own bath bomb powder. I have the little cups, and I've got the small teeny little bath poofs, and I've got the toys, so the kids can come in and take whatever color of the bath powder that they want and make it in layers or just glop it in, however it is they want to make those for the kids. But then I thought, you know, I would really like to be able to make bath bombs there. There already is another soap maker there. She's going to be doing a cold process soap demo, so that's going to be really cool. But without electricity, and that's my own fault for telling them, no, I don't need electricity. Dumbass me forgot, oh, hey, how are you going to melt your shea butter and your cocoa butter? So I'm trying to come up with a recipe, you know, that doesn't use butters. That's a good recipe. I don't know if this is a good recipe or not. I am not going to tell you where I got it from. Because if it doesn't turn out, I really don't want people coming back at me. You said blah, blah, blah about blah, blah, blah. No, I did not. Anyways, let's get, I could tell you what's in here, but I can't tell you the amounts because this is from somebody who sells their recipes. Okay, so in here we have baking soda, citric acid, cream of tartar, cornstarch. As you guys just saw, I put my yellow colored cornstarch that I've been having sitting here for about a week now. SLSA, a liquid oil, polysorbate, and fragrance. And then it says binder of choice. So my binder of choice is always going to be my witch hazel and alcohol because that's what works really good for me. However, I happen to know that this particular creator uses water. So I'm going to use water. Without further ado, let's get to crack-a-lack-in here and see if this comes out. My main concern is that it's going to be dry and powdery and not as hard as I need them to be. But we're going to find out. Because that's the simple solution, right? When you don't have heat and you want to make your bath bombs, just use a liquid oil instead of your butters that you know, you don't have to melt down liquid oils. They're already liquid. So if this works, and if this produces a decent enough bath bomb that holds together well and stays together and does everything it's supposed to do, then I can go ahead and at least make this out there at this particular fair. You know, I can do little small batches like this and just make a couple little bath bombs, no big deal, just so people can see the process of how we make bath bombs. I just don't need it to fall apart, you know what I mean? Like, they aren't going to be for sale. I would do just a teeny tiny little batch just like this, and I would do this maybe, you know, once an hour on the hour. The event is a 6-hour event, and so if people know that, you know, at 12 and 1 and 2 and 3 and all that kind of stuff that we're going to be doing bath bombs over in our space, you know, just a teeny tiny little batch like this should do it. I don't want to keep people there forever. They have other things that they want to see, and they want to go and do stuff. All right, I think we're ready to add our citric now. The liquid oil that I chose to use in this batch is avocado. I'm scenting it with peach. So I can already tell, and I haven't added binder yet, mind you, but you know, I would normally be able to take my recipe and it would hold together pretty well already at this point, but this one is not doing that. But I have not, you know, used any binder yet, so I'm going to do that right now. Here's the water, because I know that that's what that creator uses. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And see, I hate doing this like after the fact, after you've put your, and this bottle leaks everywhere. I hate doing this after the fact, after you've already added your citric acid, and then you're going to continue to add liquid, no matter what your binder is, whether you use water, whether you use alcohol, whether you use witch hazel, or a combination of any of those things. You've already added your citric, and you run the risk of everything activating, and that's why I don't make it like this. In my recipe with my percentages, I include my binder as a portion of my recipe. It's included in that 100%. Now I guess that's okay. I guess I don't know. This is just odd. It doesn't feel like my mix, of course, because it's not my mix. So I think I'm going to add a couple more spritzes. I hate this bottle, and that's why I don't use it, because it leaks. And you can see what I was talking about. It's activating, right? That's what you don't want happening. That's going to cause warts and cracking. So let's see. Let's try to mold something. Let's just take our meatballer. Get a big scoop in there. Press it together real hard. I usually come down over here, give it a nice little press, get rid of that Saturn ring. I hate Saturn rings. Tap it. Some people do, some people don't. I have found when I don't tap it and I only use my finger and my thumb in the holes here to try to get this, you know, to separate, it comes apart in the middle every single time. That's why I tap, because it's, to me, it's no different than any other mold that we need to unmold. You have to tap it. Now I go ahead and I stick my thumb on the top, finger on the bottom, and just give it a couple little, try to get that to loosen up. And see, it did it anyway. You see how that came apart like that? All right, let's try it again. Maybe I need more binder. It's not really holding together all that well. When I drop it, it does come apart. All right, and that one did it okay. But I can see where this is going to be hard going. Yeah, see, it's split apart again. So I am going to add a little bit more water. I'm just hesitant to add more binder. I don't really want this soaking wet, but it's really not holding together like I need it to. All right, hesitantly. Work fast because it's activating. So if this doesn't work with unmolding, I'm not going to add any more, because to me, this is now getting, you know, way beyond what it should be as far as the wetness of the mixture is concerned. It feels way, way wetter than my mixture. Okay, let's try it again. Wow, this is seriously activating. Like I can feel it and hear it. Oh yeah. Actually, that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's absolutely activating. So, no freaking bueno on this. It won't work as dry as it was. And then you keep on adding your water as your binder, and then it starts activating. You can hear it. Oh yeah, I can absolutely hear it. Maybe if I just keep mixing and keep mixing and keep mixing. I mean, obviously I could just take my own recipe, and rather than using the butters, I can just sub both of those butters out for the oil. But I'm in experimentation mode this week. Let's get one of my molds. Oh, please. La 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 la. What are we gonna do? Let's do, oh yeah, let's do Nemo, shall we? Oh, a little Nemo. Well, first, let's clean up this mess. That's why I hate using that bottle. I need to get a new one. I don't use water as my binder, as you guys know. I use witch hazel and rubbing alcohol, and I have that already in a bottle. Wow. Okay, Soap Chef, stop making messes. Yeah, you can still hear it activating. And it's getting, obviously, because it's activating, it's feeling heavier, denser, and more wet because it's activating. So if I even try to do, look at my little Nemo, isn't he cute? This is one of our molds that we printed. So even if I got this to mold, and unmold, more importantly, it's going to just keep on puffing up. Ugh. Wow. Oy, 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 oy. Oh yeah, this is turning into almost like glue. I'm sorry. Man alive, this is just too much. Oh God, look at this. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. This is turning into, I don't even know at this point what this is turning into. This is like, I've actually never had bath bomb mix do this. Never. Like, I don't even know what I could do with this now. I think I'm just going to spread it out and let it dry. It can continue to fizz and do whatever the hell it's going to. And then I will just spread it out and let it dry. So, in conclusion, this is not a good recipe. I don't like it. I don't think that it works really well. And it's forming hard little, okay, there you go. It's forming hard little pills. Like this is a hard little bath bomb in here. All these little round little dots. These are hard little bath bombs. They're really hard. And so now I have to sift through all of this. And by the way, I can still hear it activating, still. And it's been sitting here for like 5 minutes. It's still activating. Which, A, is one of the reasons why I just don't add the citric, you know, until the very last, until I am ready to start molding. That means all my oils and butters, all my liquids, all my binder, everything liquid is already in this dry powder. I've already mixed it all up. Now the very last thing I need to do is add that citric acid and we're ready to mold. I personally don't really understand how other people do it with the, you know, give it a spritz and a spritz and a spritz after you've already added your citric acid. That method has never worked for me, though I've seen it work for other people, but, you know, it doesn't work for me. And I think, based on what I see in the forums, that's a lot of people's problems, is they follow the directions and add everything. And they do, some of these people, they do say add your citric glass, and that's fine. So they add their citric, but then they still need their binder. So then they start squirting their binder in there and everything starts activating. In this particular case, I'm really not digging how this is like forming all these little teeny hard pills. Like they're everywhere. They're everywhere in this mix. Little teeny hard pills. And this was smooth when we first started. This was all smooth. Look at this. I've got varying sizes of these hard little pills. Let's see if I can still hear this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is still activating. So there's not a chance this is going to be moldable anytime soon. At a minimum, you're going to have to wait until this stops fizzing. I'm not seeing it puffing up, but I can hear it. When I put my ear down there, I can hear it. It feels hard and knotty and pilly and rocky. I don't like anything about this. No freaking bueno, man. This is ugh. Nope. I'm not even going to be able to get one of these out of here because it continues to activate. And I highly doubt that this is going to stay. I really highly doubt it. And it's not smooth. Oh, look at, yeah, see the wart that's happening right here? Can you guys see that? That's because it's still activating. So it's got that little wart right there. Now, also, and see, it's not smooth either, you know? Like my bath bombs don't have all this bullshit going on. You know, mine are nice and smooth all the way around, and I just can't get a smooth bath bomb out of this to save my life. And also, this is just taking me an enormous amount of time to do this. And see, again, it won't stay. This is taking me so long to do this. I would never, ever take this amount of time. If I was making these to sell these, there's not a chance in hell that I would take this long. Time is money when you run a business. And the time that it has taken me and the time that I have wasted, I'm just playing today, okay? These are not for sale. I'm not making these for sale. Hell no. No, I would never sell this. So I'm really just playing. I'm just experimenting. And so I'm in no type of a time crunch whatsoever. I have nothing to do for the rest of my day. It's Good Friday. I shouldn't even be working at all. Let me see if this is still fizzing. Yep, you can still hear it. Oh yes. Now, I tried to use my little Nemo mold. Look at Nemo, isn't he cute? Look at our Nemo. That's one of our molds, by the way, that we made. We didn't make it. We didn't design it. We're not designers. We printed this. I purchase the files and then I print them. Oh, hello. So yeah, I tried to do this. Didn't work in this mold either. And normally I would have it, yeah, let's do this actually. Let's switch. I did have everything in here, and then I decided to spread it out and let it dry. It's fun experimentation week, that's all. Because I have plenty of product. Now, if I was smart, I would be continuing to produce just like I would as if I was in the middle of my busy season. Because then that's just all the more product that I'm going to have on hand, and I won't have to bust my neck in the middle of my season. But I decided to take it easy this week and do some experimenting. Let's see if I can hear it now. Yep, still going. It's still going. All right, let's see what happens. Okay. It's the first time I'm using this mold, by the way. I probably shouldn't have done it with this recipe. I should have used my own recipe. Doesn't look bad so far, though. Let me grab a cardboard. That's not coming off, so there we go. All right, so I got a little bit of residue in there. Not bad. Could have been worse. It should have been worse compared to what this mix has been up until this point, all wet and nasty. I'm trying to look and see if it looks like there's any cracks or anything. I guess it looks okay. There's our Nemo fish out of our 3D printed mold. What is this with his eyeball? Okay. That's interesting. Okay, let's see what else we can do here. Let's try to get another big bunch of this. I don't think this is going to work with the meatballer. I don't know why. Okay. Well, I got one out of there, but like it's all cracked. Can you guys see right up on the top there? How it's all cracked? Wow, just bizarro. So I really don't like this recipe, and I would not use it again. The problem I have with just subbing out my own recipe, the butters that I have in my recipe for oil, I really don't think it's going to work, honestly. You know, the butters in my recipe are there for a reason. You know, it kind of acts almost as a glue and an emulsifier to keep everybody all together and firm, and, you know, so you're not breaking apart. You see, still having the same issue. So, you know, like I couldn't spend this amount of time. If I wasn't just, you know, messing around and playing around, there's no way could I spend this amount of time on this recipe. And I think this is one of the things that frustrates a lot of people that I see complaining, you know, about their bath bombs aren't working and they're not staying together, or they're too dry, or they're too wet, or things are activating, or they're too powdery. You know, it's just the bane of everybody's existence, you guys, and I feel bad for y'all, because making bath bombs is freaking fun. If you have a good recipe that works, making bath bombs is fun. It is. I really, really enjoy it. But you do see, like this stuff too on the inside of the mold, all of this residue is starting to really harden now because I used water as the binder. And so now I have to use a different tool rather than just my finger that I would ordinarily with my recipe. I'd be able to just swoop on the inside and get all this residue out of the inside of the mold. I can't do that. It's too hard and crusty. And so now I have to use a tool to do that, which is taking even more time. I actually need to get something else for this to get this out of here. Because if you have all that residue inside of your shell, you're not going to be able to unmold it easily. This is dried out enough. This actually almost feels like my own mix now with how dry it is now. But I don't believe that this is really going to, you know, be able to be molded and unmolded like mine, regardless of how dry it is now. don't know. See how that looks? Like, it looks like there's like pop marks all in it, right? Like the poor thing has a really bad case of acne. I'm just going to try to turn it over on here. I normally don't do this, but... yeah. Ay, 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 ay. So again, like all the crusties that are left in here that I now have to go scraping out of here before I do my next mold. Because it won't, I'm telling you. I've been working with these molds a long time, regularly, just about every single day for the past 2 years. So I'm very, very experienced with 3D molds. And this is just taking up a lot of time. And keep in mind, as I'm taking all this time, my mix is drying out and drying out and drying out. In this particular instance, that's good, because it was way too wet before and it was activating. So that's good that it's drying out. Let's try my little shark. Bruce. Fish are friends, not food. All right, let's see how much damage we can do here. I'm just going to give these away. Or maybe I'll use them myself. Never used this mold either, by the way. We just literally just printed these off the printer the other day. Even just pressing it, you guys, it feels squishy, spongy. That's the best way that I can describe it. When I'm pushing down, it feels spongy. Yeah, like when I'm pushing on it, it feels spongy. It's just weird. Sorry, I keep walking away. I really wasn't planning on doing these type of bath bombs. I really just wanted to bust out just a few of those round ones as a trial. Wow. Ay, ay, ay. Wow, I can actually see this cracking. I haven't even done anything yet, but I can see it cracking on the tail. Can you guys? Like I'm physically watching the cracks happen. Man, this is just bizarro. Oh, wow, so that whole tail just came right on. Okay, well, all right. Well, what was left of poor little Bruce? Wow. Oh my God, I've never experienced this, you guys. I really have not. I would tell you guys if I had. I really would. I would tell you guys. I promise I would tell you. If I've ever had problems like this, I would absolutely say it. Never had problems like this. And so now I kind of get it, you know what I mean? Like, knock on wood, I really don't have problems making bath bombs at all with my recipe. So many people do. I'm not going to keep going. What's the point, really? Okay, so this was a fail in my opinion. I don't like this recipe. I will not be using this recipe. But that's how we learn. It's good to try new things. It's good to tweak old things. It's good to compare. other people's things, you know, to see if they will work. Like I always say, you guys, you know, maybe somebody else has a better way of doing it. Maybe their recipe is a little bit better than yours. Maybe they add 1 or 2 things, or they've omitted 1 or 2 things. So it's kind of different than your recipe. Maybe different means better. I'm all about that, man. I'm all about learning, growing, educating, experimenting, getting the experience. This, no bueno. And no big deal either, because I'm really just playing around. All right, so this is what I was able to get out of that batch. I got 2 of my fishies, 1 of my little Bruce sharks, and a couple of melon balls. Interesting. I don't care for the recipe, but that's why we do these things, you know? Experiment, try other people's things, see if they do or do not work for you. Most of the time, in my own personal experience, you know, trying to do things that other people do just really doesn't work. It usually never works out, with the exception of there are a couple of formulators who absolutely are geniuses with what they do and the recipes that they put out for free, PS. And those recipes that I have tried from those creators have never failed. This is a fail for me personally, but I'm going to leave these here until tomorrow. We're going to come back as we always do, and we are going to give this another looky-loo and see how hard it got or not. We might even do a little test, you know, to see if it floats or if it sinks or if it fizzes or if it foams or what the hell it does over here. But we'll come back tomorrow and we'll continue the testing then, okay? Okay, we left off with molding all of these out of that recipe that I was trying. It's actually been several days, you guys. I did this, I want to say, on Friday. I'm pretty sure it was Friday that I did this. And then, of course, Easter weekend happened, and we did our live on Saturday. I haven't been over here to the facility since I made these. And so I came in and took a little looky-loo, and several of these are cracked pretty decently. And that does not happen with my bath bomb mix. So I don't know if you guys can see, there's a pretty big crack, and then all along the center line here it's cracked. And the same with this one, there's a crack here, and then if you continue looking all the way around the top, there's just cracks everywhere. I don't see any on the midline, but they're all over the top here. So both of these have cracked. Poor little Bruce here. Fish are friends, not food. There's cracking on his tail, and a big huge chunk came off. There's a little bit of a chunk that came off here, which those type of things aren't any big deal to me. But I can see a crack here. I can see cracking here. Definitely on his tail. Now, Nemo doesn't seem to be cracked at all. I looked pretty good. I don't really see any cracking at all on him. So that's good. But then on this Nemo, there is some cracking. There's some cracking on his tail. I'll show you in just a second. I don't see anything else on him. Just the slightest little crack on his tail. I don't know, this is so, the blurriness. So, I don't know, you guys. This is, you know, for me, this is just not a good recipe for me. I would not make this again. I can't have things like that happening with cracks all over the place. But we're going to move on from that. So, not a good recipe. Oh, here's another crack right here. I just noticed it just now on poor Bruce. Here's another crack. So yeah, no bueno on that for me. Next, moving on from that, the other experiment that we did. Wait, hold please. Okay, so the other experiment that we did the other day was making that porcelain clay. It's pretty hard. Now I could snap this in half if I wanted to, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard, but it's hard enough. No dents. I'm just doing that so you guys can see and hear how hard this gets for porcelain clay. Again, I could snap this in half if I wanted to. it's way, way harder than like a bubble bar. I mean, way harder than a bubble bar, but you know, you could snap that in half if you wanted to. I'm very pleased with this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and probably drill a little hole in here so you can hang this from your rear view. I'm just going to keep these for myself, but as I continue to perfect this recipe of this cold porcelain clay, you know, I think it's going to be good. There we go. That's a good recipe. Just you have to add a crap ton more cornstarch than what they said. Okay, and then experiment number 3, which I did not film, but I will show you guys right now. It looks awful because I stuck it into a silicone mold to dry. It takes a minimum of like 4 to 5 days, if not a week or more. Now let's see, I did this also on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's been about 5 days, and this was the scented chalk from scratch. A lot of creators will just go and purchase the powdered gym chalk up on Amazon, and then they'll just add water and reform it, and it's called reforming gym chalk. So that's one way to do it. If you want to get the blocks of gym powder, or you want to get the bags of gym powder, and you just want to go ahead and add your liquid and your scent to that, that's one way to do it. But I started from scratch with calcium carbonate. So this is interesting. There's a lot of different ingredients. I will make another video once I get these to the point where they need to be. And they look bad as far as the impression is concerned and the detail of the design is concerned, because I put them in a silicone mold and they've been just sitting in there until just a few seconds ago. And they're still kind of damp. I can feel it. But here is our scented chalk. I scented it in banana. Again, I'm kind of utilizing the cornstarch, because you do use cornstarch. There's tapioca flour and cornstarch in here, the calcium carbonate. Oh God, what are some of the other ingredients? I don't know, I have it written down over there. And again, I will do an entire video on this, but they're getting there, but they're not like, I could break this and crumble this pretty easily. And a child would not be able to use this yet to draw on the chalkboard or to draw on the sidewalk or your driveway or anything like that. It's getting there. It just needs more time. It hasn't been enough time yet. But that's another cool experiment that we did last week when we had our mad scientist cap on. So yeah, that's going to do it, you guys, for this video. It's long enough, but stay tuned. We're going to do more experiments. We're going to let you know. We always try to come back and let you guys know how things worked out the next day. So it's one thing to watch a video and say, hey, that's pretty cool. But then what happened to the product? Did it work out? What was the longevity of it? Is it stable? Let's see. How do we know? I like to come back and show those kind of things after the fact, you know. So we will continue to do that. You guys continue to be awesome like you are. And we will get back together sooner rather than later, all right? So be kind, stay humble, and take care of yourselves. We'll see you soon.